Si Module 2 or Day 2 is to learn how an expert trader chooses the pairs to trade. So, nabanggit ko last time na sa introduction natin, in order to know whether a pair or yung currency ay good to trade, dapat meron siyang demand. And in order to know whether there is a demand, kailangan alamin natin yung market psychology ng mga participants. So we want to go where the banks are going. We want to go where the big players are going. Kasi sila yung nagda-drive ng money into the market. Eh. Sila yung may alam, sila yung may madaming pera. So therefore, we want to go with them. Ayaw natin makisunod sa mga retail na newbie na maliit lang yung pera and usually hindi nila din alam kung paano mag-trade. Alright? So we want to follow the smart money. Yan yung tawag natin. So in order to do that, kailangan muna natin alamin kung paano yung mga smart money, kung paano sila mag-single out ng mga pairs to trade. So this one will encompass yung sa bit formula natin, this will be letter B and letter E. So this is broad market view and economics. Okay? So yun, start muna tayo. So yun, topic 2.1. Kasi module 2 tayo, so topic 2.1 to. Looking at the broad market view. So ito na yung letter B natin, yung pinaka step 1 natin. Okay? So now, before I go to the letter B or yung broad market view, very important na i-mention ko din na kailangan natin ng schedule when we trade. Okay? Kasi kung nagte-trade tayo, kailangan seryoso tayo. Okay? Uh, Hindi rin tayo pwede mag-trade ng trade tuwing weekday din. Kasi, syempre naman, meron din tayong trabaho. Okay? So, it's good to have a schedule para everyday 30 minutes lang yung ite-trade natin. Or 30 minutes lang tayo mag-analyze. And this also includes weekends. When we have our weekend planning, hindi na kailangan masyado mag-analyze sa weekday. And for me, yan yung pinaka-secret kung bakit ako personally, 20 to 30 minutes lang ako nag-analyze per day kasi kasama na rin yung Saturday and Sunday ko. Okay? And madami rin ako natutunan sa weekend kasi hindi naman gumagalaw yung market. Right? So, ito yon. Ito yung usual schedule ko for analysis. So, B is, as you can see, no, sinundan ko yung beat formula. B will be Saturday, 20 minutes. Pwedeng less, pero maybe for beginners, 20 minutes. Okay? So, letter B lang to ah. That means, wag mong gawin yung iba during Saturday. Kasi syempre naman, tuwing Saturday din, gusto rin natin mag-relax. I want to spend time with our family, our loved ones. Kung pwede na kayo lumabas, I think sa mga ibang parts ng ng Philippines, pwede na mag-cafe o restaurant. So yun, don't linger too much sa forex tuwing Saturday. At siguro take 20 minutes out of your Saturday para gumawa ng broad market view. Okay? Huwag niyo gawin yung yung E tuwing or yung mga A tuwing Saturday. Okay? Just broad market view, 20 minutes. And a little bit of yung economics analysis tuwing Saturday. Siguro 10 minutes, ganyan. Okay? And then sa Sunday, 15 minutes. Right? So, yung nangyari ay sa Saturday, 20 minutes of broad market view and 10 minutes of economic analysis. So total 30 minutes yan sa Saturday. Sa Sunday naman, 15 minutes of yung economics analysis and 15 minutes of analysis of experts naman. Okay? So sa Sunday, another 30 minutes. Right? So sa pinaka-end naman ng workshop na to, papakita ko kung paano ko ina-apply lahat to para 30 minutes per day lang. Okay? Pero just take note of the schedule. Okay? Kasi ito yung gagamitin natin, especially when we do journaling. Alright? And syempre naman, yung mate formula, kapag meron ka ng B, E, and A, mate formula will only take 30 minutes of the time kasi na-screen out mo na yung mga high quality pairs to trade using B, E, and A nung weekend. And then, sa weekday naman, Monday to Friday, 30 minutes lang kayo mag-mate formula. So meron na kayo na screen out na pairs, just check it in the chart and then analyze, and then yung mangyari i-watchlist mo lang. From time to time, tignan mo kung natamaan yung level na to, maganda ba yung pasok, enter mo lang. It can be anywhere naman din. Pwede mo naman gamitin yung phone para mag-enter. Okay? Ang whole point is, yung analysis ay dapat 30 minutes lang per day para hindi stressful. Okay? Kasi naniniwala ako na trading does not have to be stressful. Basta may schedule and basta alam mo rin yung ginagawa mo. Alright? So let's get started. Dito muna tayo sa B, step 1. So question, what is broad market view? So yun, it is the study of the correlation of one financial market to another. So sa buong financial markets, no, yung totality ng financial sector, there is the stock market. Siguro familiar kayo sa stocks, di ba? Yung mga company, yung mga Jollibee, ganyan, nagbibigay sila ng stocks sa mga willing mag-invest. Alright? So, sa ibang country, meron din, syempre, they have the stock market, and then meron din tayong commodities market. Yan yung market na nagtitrade ng gold, silver, platinum, and oil. Okay? Kasi commodities yung mga yan. Okay, yun yung tawag, yun yung classification nila. And madami naman nagtitrade ng gold. Siguro may mga iba nagtitrade ng silver and oil. Those are part of commodities market. And then, syempre, meron tayong forex market, which is yung tinitrade natin. Euro USD, GBP USD, yung mga ganyan. Okay? So, broad market view will give us an idea. Parang yung sa 20 minutes na broad market view analysis na ginagawa natin sa Saturday, we just want to know what is happening as of Saturday para makaprepare tayo for the next week. Okay? So, yung preparation natin is parating weekly. Alright? Kasi yung market ay sarado naman kapag Saturday and Sunday. So yun yung best time to see what is going on in a bigger picture. Okay? So study of correlation or yung relationship ng isang financial market to another. So kunyari, how does the US stock market relate to the forex market? 'Di ba? Kapag gumalaw si stock market ng ganito, ano yung maging effect niya sa forex market? Kunyari, si gold and silver, usually parehas yung galaw nila. Gold and silver, ganito yung galaw nila. Ano yung effect nila? Ano yung effect nila sa stock market or sa forex market? Okay? So bakit important to? Kasi if we find out or we analyze what is going on with the stock market, meron tayong onting predictive signal kung anong pwede mangyari sa forex market. And that is why very important ang broad market view. Kasi doon natin malalaman, kapag ganito yung stock market, US stock market, ito pala yung galaw ng forex market. Ito pala yung pairs na ma-affected. Kapag gumalaw ang gold, ganito. Ganito pala yung galaw ng, kunyari, USD. Mga ganyan. We just need to understand which of the specific, kunyari, stock markets will directly affect which pairs. Okay, yan yung importance ng broad market view. Ayun. So why look at the broad market view? I think sinabi ko na to kanina, pero sige, ulitin natin. It allows you to get a clear view of what is happening in the financial sector in the world as a whole. So yung ginawa natin is tinignan natin yung very, very bird's eye view ng financial sector. And then paloob tayo ng paloob until nag-entry tayo. Second, it allows us to understand the risk appetite of investors. So sa last webinar, na-discuss ko na yung risk on and risk off na currencies, 'di ba? So, kapag mataas yung risk appetite ng investors or market participants, then we will trade mga risk on currencies. We will buy risk on currencies and we will sell risk off. Kapag takot ang investors maglagay ng pera sa market, then doon tayo sa risk off. Kasi usually, bumibili sila ng risk off currencies naman. Right? So that's why it's important na meron tayong broad market view para as a whole, alam natin kung takot ang mga investors sa financial market or medyo malalakas yung loob nila. Okay? That's why meron tayong risk on and risk off. Okay? And lastly, it allows you to generate a signal of what currency pairs to trade by looking at other financial markets. So nabanggit ko na to kanina. Okay? So yun, yun yung basic overview natin. Alright? So doon naman tayo sa mga techniques na pwedeng gamitin. Okay, yung mga how. Ito kasi yan. Tools that experts use to determine risk appetite. First is yung S&P 500, also known as SPX 500 or US 500. So ano to? Coach, ano yung S&P 500? It is the stock index or yung average ng lahat ng stocks, ng 500 stocks sa US. Bakit important to? Kasi as of now, yung US ay yung pinakamalakas na economy in recording. Okay? Uh, with regard to yung financial sector, si US pa rin yung pinakamalakas. Alright? So that's why tinitignan parati yung S&P 500, yung stock market ng US. So bakit relevant tong stock market na to? Kasi usually it will tell you kung bibili ka ng risk on or risk off. So later explain ko pa yan. Next is yung VIX. Okay. So guys, hindi to yung nilalagay sa chest kapag may ubo. Okay. VIX is an indicator na pwedeng i-connect sa S&P 500. Right? So more on that later din. And yung AUD-JPY. Isa pa yan. Okay? So explain ko rin kung bakit AUD-JPY ay isang special pair, kung bakit gagamitin natin to determine whether to buy risk on or risk off currencies. Okay? So start muna tayo sa S&P 500. So si S&P 500 kasi ay meron ng special relationship with the forex market. Kito kasi yan. Since the S&P is the stock index of the world's biggest economy, pagdating sa financial sector, ayun, and pagdating sa forex market, kasi yun yung pinaka-recognized, then malalaman natin kung sino yung mga investors na nag-i-invest sa loob ng stock market. Kung madami ang nag-i-invest or madaming bumibili sa S&P 500, it means generally yung mood ng mga market participants or investors ay matapang. Kasi optimistic sila na aakyat pa ang market. Meaning, o sige, invest pa ako ng invest, lagay pa ako ng lagay. Parang ganyan. Ngayon, kapag nag-pull out sila sa S&P 500, malamang sa malamang bababayan. And it means natatakot sila sa market. So that means ayaw nila maglagay sa risk on currencies, lalagay naman sila sa risk off currencies kasi natatakot sila. Okay, of what will happen. So doon sila sa medyo safe na currencies. So sa last webinar inexplain ko na kung bakit risk on and risk off. All right? So ito naman, I'm explaining kung paano natin gamitin 'yan in relation to S&P 500. Okay? So ito yung general rule. If the S&P 500 goes up or naka-uptrend siya, then it means investors are generally brave and will go for risk on currencies. So kung bumababa naman siya, generally takot ang mga tao and pupunta naman sila sa risk off currencies. Okay? So paano natin gamitin to? So later magbibigay ako ng practical example pero explain ko muna. Okay? First, we look at the trend in WD1 and H4. So ano yung tinitignan natin dito? Kailangan ba natin i-mate formula yung S&P? No need. We just need to look at the trend. Okay? In WD1 and H4. Bakit? Kasi sa W1, D1, and H4 time frame, magigets natin kung ano yung feel ng mga tao or mga market participants. Kung naka-uptrend siya, let's say in the D1, then it means generally optimistic pa rin ang mga tao sa financial market in general in general. Ngayon, kung may nakita kang nag-form na maliit na downtrend sa H4, baka sa short term takot sila. Parang ganyan. So, we will use M or yung market trend ng MATE formula para i-analyze itong si S&P 500. Yung M lang, hindi na natin kailangan lagyan ng A. unless gusto mo i-trade yung S&P 500. Pero if we want to just use it for broad market view, kahit yung trend lang. Okay? And then, syempre, we look at the VIX. So, na-mention ko na to kanina, yung VIX. It is an indicator na sinasama or special siya for the S&P 500. Okay? So, ano nga siya? The VIX stands for Volatility Index. It measures the overall fear of the investors of the S&P 500 only. So, yung VIX, hindi yan pwedeng gamitin sa ibang bagay. Like, hindi pwedeng gamitin sa gold, hindi pwedeng gamitin sa Nasdaq, yung mga ganyan. Ginawa lang siya specifically for the S&P 500. Okay? So again, kapag yung VIX ay nagsasabing fearful ang tao, then ibig sabihin, bababa ang S&P 500. Pero kapag sinabi ng VIX, matapang ang mga tao, umaakyat ang S&P 500. Yan yung general rule natin. So again, no, the higher the VIX, the more fear. The lower, the braver the investors. So itong mga numbers lang to, papakita ko naman later. Pero generally, tandaan mo lang to. Below 20, high risk appetite. 20 to 40, yung mga ranking, 20 to 40, hints of fear in the market. So may onting takot na. Above 40, super panic na ang mga market participants ng S&P 500. Okay? So only for S&P 500 to. So ano itsura niyang VIX na yan? Ganito. Alright? So yung naka-candlestick dito, ayan, sige, drawing ako. Itong naka-candlestick dito, yan yung S&P 500. Okay? Itong orange, yan yung VIX. So later tuturuan ko din kayo paano magpatong ng dalawang chart sa trading view para makita niyo yung relationship. So ganito kasi yan. When the S&P 500 slowly goes up or naka-uptrend, ito naman naka-uptrend siya. Mapapansin mo bumababa ang VIX. And 'di ba kanina sa numbers natin, ano ba sinabi ng numbers natin? Below 20, high risk appetite. Meaning risk on yung mga gusto ng tao. 20 to 40, hints of a bit of fear. Above 40, super panic. So tingnan natin. Currently, saan ba ang VIX? Dito, 'di ba? Dito si VIX. Ano yung value ni VIX ngayon? Ito ay nasa 24.61. So nasa ano siya? Nasa 20 to 40 na scale. Okay? So this will tell us na may hints of fear pero yung sobrang onti lang. Okay? So it means na posibleng baka nag-shift na yung tao sa risk off. Okay? And if tinignan natin yung S&P 500, nakita mo may mga bearish candle dito. So even though slightly umaakyat, may downward movement dito. Parang ganyan. So we can say na inversely related si VIX pati S&P 500. Meaning, kapag umaakyat si S&P, bumababa si VIX. Tapos kapag umaakyat si VIX, bumababa naman si S&P. Okay? So more on that kapag sa practical na papakita ko sa example. Pero for now, ito lang yung tandaan natin na rules. So I want you to observe something interesting. Ito ang highest point ng VIX. This is 275%. So ang rule natin is kapag above 40, panic na yung tao. So 275, super duper 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 panic na ang tao. So kailan to nangyari? Later on, papakita ko kung ano to. Etong big drop to sa S&P 500 ay yung first time nagka-lockdown. So nasa March 2020 ata to. Yan yung nag-spread yung COVID na sa buong mundo and then nag-lockdown. Malamang sa malamang madami nagpapanik nung time na yan. And therefore, umakyat si VIX. Kasi VIX is a indicator of fear ng mga market participants ng S&P 500. Okay? So, at this point in time, bumaba si S&P 500, tumaas yung VIX. Ang pwede natin i-assume dyan ay yung mga tao ay pumupunta or bumibili ng mga risk-off currencies katulad ng USD, JPY, and CHF. And then habang bumababa ang VIX, yung nangyari ay ah, habang pababa ng pababa, mas nagiging in demand na ang mga AUD, NZD, GBP, Euro, and CAD kasi sila yung risk on. Okay? Kasi after nito, siguro 1 month to mga March, yung medyo April, nasasanay na yung mga tao. So, I think tayo, MECQ tayo nun, around that. And then siguro after what pa, GCQ na rin, parang nasasanay na yung tao. So nagbubukas ulit yung mga economies. So therefore, kung nasasanay na yung mga tao, edi naging optimistic ulit yung market, generally speaking. Okay? So ganyan siya.